Different legendary weapons get a buff in the Weapon Refinery, and I rank them here. Greetings and salutations, my name is Deltran, helping you build killing machines so you can dominate in PvP and special hero maps. If you want help earning all the orbs, feathers, sacred points, and heroes this game throws at you every week, consider subscribing. So first of all, I am doing this a little bit different than most of my videos, only because I'm not feeling well, and no one wants to see that. So this is going to be a little more casual style, but I am so excited about the 2.0 upgrade with the Weapon Refinery. There's just so many things to talk about, and I want to talk about everything. But this is the thing that was chiefly on my mind, and this is what I've been looking at the most ever since all the information has come out. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the legendary weapons that get a buff using this Weapon Refinery, and I'm going to go ahead and rank them from the my least impressive to my holy cow. And so let's go ahead and go through this. Now, first of all, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, as of version 2.0 of Fire Emblem, there is now a chapter at the end of Book 1, the original story chapters, that lets you get access to a new altar, if you will, that lets you reforge weapons. And this weapon reforgeability applies to many things, but specifically we're talking about 5 different legendary weapons that get an upgrade because of this. And so these are the weapons that I want to take a look at, because some of them are pretty interesting in how they decided to upgrade them. So all of these weapons have access to 5 different upgrades. 4 of them upgrade stats, with the exception of the dagger, I believe. They all can, every reforge is going to give you bonus hit points, first of all, but the 4 options let you choose between an additional buff to attack, speed, defense, and resistance, usually to the tune of +2 more attack, +3 speed, which is amazing, and +4 defense or resistance, which is actually not bad, but we'll get into that later. The 5th option for each legendary weapon is a new unique power. They give you a couple of hit points, but then they give you an additional power that that weapon has, and it's those that I'm going to talk about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and rank these 5 items. First weapon we're going to talk about is Sigmund, which is Ephraim's weapon. His ability already got leaked, but he originally had attack +3 as a hone on all adjacent allies. Now he has attack +4, which is hone 3, so he got an upgrade there. And he also gets to make a guaranteed follow-up attack when at greater than 90% in attacking a foe that can counter. So he gets a version of Brash Assault. This, I think, is strange. Brash Assault usually worked on the lower hit points. Now he gets it on the upper hit points, and so if he gets healed, then he gets to use this again and again. I have this as my least favorite just because it is such a small margin that you're allowed to use this with, but it does give him the killing power that he really needs, because, I mean, his speed is not great. I mean, first of all, he's not a red sword lord, so, you know, he's already at a disadvantage. He doesn't qualify for being able to artificially get 35 speed, am I right? But now he's at, you know, you're talking like 25 speed for Ephraim, so he's getting outspeeded by a lot of people, especially red, and that was a huge problem. So now he's actually able to do most of his job, and he can take out a lot of red sword lords. Remember, it means whenever he's attacking a foe that can counter, doesn't mean that the foe is doubling him necessarily, it just means that the foe gets to hit back. So if there was a slower red, like Zephiel, it's just guaranteeing that he could get that extra hit. Not like that matters at this point in time. He doesn't get 3 hits, it's confusing. But yeah, no, that's what we're talking about here. So that is my number 5, which is Sigmund. My number 4 is Mistletoe. I have not a clue how to pronounce it, I'm so sorry, but it's Eldigan's weapon. Whenever he uses the Reforge, he gets the same options everybody else does, but if you opt for his special, he grants attack, speed, and defense and resistance +3, but then you take 6 damage after combat, which is also known as Fury 3, so he gets Fury 3 built into his weapon. That's pretty interesting. If you combine that with the Fury 3 that he naturally comes with, that's actually a huge bump in all of his stats, so this is sort of mediocre to think about as far as like what does it do, but the power that this gives you is quite amazing. he's going to whittle himself down really, really quick if you keep both. But to be, I'm quite frank with you, I mean, at this point, you're looking at like 54 attack, like around neutral. You're talking about 40 defense around neutral. The resistance is still a garbage fire, and the speed isn't good for a sword lord, but it's good for just about anybody else. And then of course you add in all the horsey buffs on this. It's just ridiculous. Elden gets already a nightmare to deal with his default kit, and this just makes him worse. So good luck with that. It's not super impressive or super over the top, but you know what? It just makes everything that's difficult about dealing with an Elden that much worse. So yeah, make sure you nuke him. So that is, I'm not going to pronounce the name again, but that's Elden's weapon. The real number 4 is Fujinuma, which is Takumi's weapon. Now I don't have a picture of it, I am so sorry. However, his original weapon, if you remember, basically has a pass too. So, you know, whenever he is above 50%, he can scoot past people, you know, because that's what you want him to do, right? So now, his legendary weapon, whenever it gets upgraded with a special power, whatever he is below 50%, excuse me, he... I'm so sorry. It should be better, but I mean, really, it's whenever you're on low hit points, it's so worthless. He's no longer obstructed by forest, so he could take a full movement through forest, which sounds great, but you have to get dinged first, or you have to bring reciprocal aid and let an ally get dinged and then give it to him and then go. It's just so annoying. He also gets his own variant of flyer formation, which is pretty cool, so he could go ahead and warp to other players with 2 spaces of him and be able to do his thing. But here's the thing is, he has to be below 50%. It's neat. It's going to catch people off guard. I think it's going to be something cool that you could do on a defensive team, but it's not. This isn't doing anything to help him out, and I feel so bad. The only reason why I put it here is because 1, out of pity, and 2, I just feel bad. Really, I guess it's all pity. That's why it's in this spot. So that's Fujinuma, Takumi's weapon. My number 3 is Eclair, which is the special legendary weapon of both Minerva and Michaelis, which is pretty cool. So originally all it was just like the previous weapon, it just had this special trigger cooldown of 1. But now if you upgrade it and give it its special power, it's a Wu Dao. It deals plus extra 10 damage whenever the special triggers, which is pretty neat. It's depending on who you're giving it to, it might not be better than upgrading some of the other aspects of the weapon, but giving that a Wu Dao effect is really, really cool. It's already lowering the special trigger. I mean, you're talking about it being almost as powerful as a Resolute Blade. So that's pretty interesting, I think. So, yeah, that makes my number 3, which is Eclair, which is for Minerva and Michaelis. So number 2 and number 1 have me completely floored. So let's go ahead and talk about my number 2, which is Deathly Dagger from Jafar. Now, during a live stream, someone asked me, hey, what do you expect to see on Deathly Dagger? And I was like, well, you know, I don't really know. It would be strange if there was a Savage Blow effect on it, but I would love it. But otherwise, more realistically, I'd like to see like a Wind Sweep or Water Sweep ability on it. That would be pretty cool. Well, they gave me both. So after combat, it deals 10 damage to the target, which is up from 7, and to foes within 10 spaces of the target, so it's basically Savage Blow 4. Also still has the defensive resistance drop, and foes using magic cannot counterattack. What? This is amazing. This has all my dreams come true, and it has a bump to its might as well, so it's dealing even more damage. It's a 14 might dagger here. I love this. This is I love it. I want this now. I can't wait. I need my medals. I need my due. I'm ready for it. I also need some SP because I don't use my Jafar too often. I do use him, and it's funny, I think of it more as a meme build. I do have Poison Strike on him, I do have Savage Blow on him, and it helps out a lot. And I've used him quite a few times. I've used him in PvP, and it has helped. Whenever I fall in the rankings, I can use Jafar, and it catches a lot of teams off guard. But whenever where I use him the most is in different special maps, and he's just there to be like, well, no, I need to deal damage to all the things because there's a stupid hard target here. and it works out really well. So just thinking of all that being amplified, I mean, let's just do some real quick math here. I mean, he has 10 from the dagger, 7 from Savage Blow, right? And then you could give him the Savage Blow level 3 seal. I mean, you're talking about adding another 14, that's 24 damage to everybody around him. Yeah, that's devastating. That's going to remove Quick Riposte. That's going to remove all the breaker skills. It's going to put people into Vantage space. It's going to put people into Desperation space. But you know what? You either... if they had Desperation, you attack them. If they had Vantage, you just gotta figure out who you could deal with in order to make sure that you can have that block. And it's not so bad. I've definitely run into a point where I can't kill somebody who has Vantage up, but I'm still super stoked about this. So that's my number 2. Definitely Dagger on Jafar. That leaves for number 1, Soul Caddy for Lyn. Yeah, so... now, she gets Desperation 3, which is whenever your hit points are lower than 75%, the follow-up attack occurs immediately. So hey, that's a nice upgrade. I really like that. I think it needed it. I really do. And then the unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack when hit points are lower than 75%, the foe can counterattack. So don't worry about giving her the Brash Assault seal. Don't worry about giving her Brash Assault in her B slot. She just gets it now. So basically this means that she always hits twice, regardless of what's happening. So that frees up her Steel slot and her B slot completely, because you know what, the Brash Assault thing was definitely fine. It breathed life into Lyn. And it was my opinion, and obviously IS's opinion, that it wasn't quite enough. I mean, she still sat on my bench. For as much as everyone makes fun of Alphonse, I mean, there's so many people that sit next to Alphonse keeping that thing warm. And my Lyn was one of them. Well, probably not anymore with this. This is incredible. I love this power, and I mean, the combo itself is great. It does give her pretty good kill line, but you always needed something a little extra, and now you can get something a lot extra. Really customized Lyn. It turned a few things that were almost must-haves on Lyn and just put it right into her weapon. It's great. I love it. Thank you, IS. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is so amazing. So that is my number 1, Soul Caddy on Lyn. And so, hey, thank you guys for tolerating my sickiness, and thank you guys for listening. I hope I gave you guys some good information. Let me know what you guys think about the Weapon Refinery, and specifically the legendary weapons down below. Which one of these are you most excited to get on your units, and which ones are you going to replace with a quote-unquote generic stat bump? Because, I mean, you know, giving a Soul Caddy 18 might and a little extra hit points isn't a bad option necessarily. So let me know down in the comments what you think, and do me a favor, if you like your Fire Emblem information hot and fresh like Grandma's cookies, hit that subscribe button. My name is Deltrain. Thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate all of you. And until next time, take it easy.